I'm gonna check this right here, make sure the sound is working. See if- Hope everyone is having a good morning. So yeah, it's working.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So what's today? Thursday?
I think it is
Thursday,
Thursday.
man. Just time has been flying these days, and probably way more for you.
Yeah, it's been tough to get back to reality, and my days and my times are very off still.
So that's what we're here to talk about. We're gonna jump right straight into the special feat that he just completed, and I'll let you introduce yourself
Yeah.
to everyone. That a lot of people know you now, and if they don't, then they're gonna know you just by doing very inspiring things like what you just did. So if you want to introduce yourself, where you live,
Yeah.
and kind of just what you just did, basically.
Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate it, and thank you for having me on. My name is Christian Johnson. I live in Madera, California, so I'm right in the heart of the Central Valley, and pretty much the exact center of California. What I just did, well, I did the fastest time to run an ultra marathon distance on every continent. So I ran a 50K every single day on every continent and finished in under 7 total days. And I did it to raise awareness for Parkinson's, and I did it in honor of my grandpa, who is currently battling Parkinson's. And then we were working on raising money for the Michael J. Fox Foundation.
That's awesome, man. So for those of you, most people that follow what we do, they're pretty aware of what a ultra marathon is. I'm sure there will be some random people that don't know. Most people think of a marathon. Sometimes they don't
Yeah,
even know the distance. They'll say like, "I just ran a 5K marathon." So
yeah,
26 miles, 26.2 to be exact. That's a marathon.
yeah,
So extra 5 miles, 31 miles and change.
yeah,
You get 50K. So what I wanted to ask you, I did see that there was other people doing they were doing a marathon, right?
yeah.
So what I was curious about it, were you the only one doing the 50K?
Yeah, so I was the only one doing the 50Ks. I went with a group or a company called the Great World
Uh huh.
Race. So they do a marathon on every continent in 7 consecutive days. And you can also do a half marathon if you want. So we had some people running halves, we had some, or most of the people running fulls, but I was the only one doing a 50K. And the reason I went with them was just for logistical purposes, because when I was putting this whole project together, the end of 2024, I got the record basically certified by Guinness or to do it, um, and went through the whole application process, got all that set up, and then I started to try to plan things out. And getting to Antarctica and back in one day was going to be super tough to do and very very expensive. So I kind of cut my losses with that idea, and I reached out to the Great World Race, and I jumped on a call with these guys. And there's actually a female that's done the same record that I just completed, and she did it in 2017 with the same group. So they knew exactly how to do it, what to do, and that's why I ended up going with them. And so for me, they had my 50K distance already mapped out every
So
day
they did
at
the
the
mapping.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
so I just show up, they have their courses laid out for everybody running the marathon, half marathon, and then they would have
just that
kind of like an
a
extra,
little
like a
extra.
turnaround point for me. They'd say, if they were running 10 laps, I'd run like 11 and a half usually.
So not only that, but I did look. Started following you on Strava.
Yeah.
So I was looking. So not only did he did that, but his times are. I mean, you're not gonna be beating any Kenyans or on the marathon, but his times were pretty fast. I think what one thing that caught my eye is that you got faster. Like what the fuck? Like so you would think. Anyways, now we're in. I think your friends. A lot of we have some of the same friends. We have
Yeah.
Andrew Glaze, Eli. A lot of people that are doing some crazy stuff. So
Yeah.
sometimes you start normalizing, which is a good thing. Doing
Yeah.
like really, but for some people, a marathon is like like a lifetime goal. One day I want to do a marathon.
Yeah.
So not a marathon, but an ultra marathon every single day. I don't care if you're doing it outside your house or in your case
Yeah.
at his orchard, where that's kind of how I first saw him running
Yeah.
100 miles at his pistachio orchard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, that. I even commented. We just looked at the comment back then. And, and I told him that's so dumb. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And I said, I'll come out and I'll set up an aid station
yeah,
for you.
he did say that. So what I was saying about that is like your times. Yeah, they got faster, which I don't know. It could have been the course or whatever, but I have to think, and that's why if you could guide us, like the first one that you did,
Yeah.
um, Like, I don't know on top of your head. I think I actually screenshotted like how long it took you.
Yeah.
You don't have to say that time, but like, what was it from the first one to the second one? Like your body, because there's a lot of questions, man.
Yeah.
Like for someone that likes to, do this kind of stuff, fueling, recovering is a huge important.
Yeah.
But when you get on an airplane, I mean, I done races like in Mexico, and just one race to get there,
Yeah.
settle down, go and do the race, getting on a plane, your legs. There's just so much that goes into. So
Yeah.
maybe you could guide us through like where was the first one?
Yeah. So originally we were gonna do Antarctica the first day, and everybody was in Cape Town, South Africa. That was kind of our meeting point before we started the whole project. Um, the weather kind of took a turn, so the night before we started, they switched locations. So we ended up doing Cape Town the first day, then Antarctica the second day. Um, so Cape Town, day one, it wasn't really too hot. Weather was good. Super windy though. We were running right along the water, and I mean, obviously first day, so you got all the jitters. You're
Yeah, yeah.
energized. So I ended up running a 4:19 that day. um, then the next morning we flew, or might have been that night, flew over to Antarctica, 5-hour flight. The sun, it's summertime over there right now, so the sun is up 24/7. My watch actually told me, because it'll tell me when the sun's going to set every day, it said sunset in 75 days from now. I had to do a double.
What about your recovery? What did it say?
Oh, I don't even know. I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't really care. I was like, it's gonna be a long week. So,
Right, right, right.
yeah. So Antarctica, we started running at, I think it was 2:30 in the morning, and we had about 6.5 hours on ground, and then had to get out. The plane only had, I think it was technically 8 hours. So by the time we landed, by the time we had to leave, it had to be 8 hours. So after we got off the plane, got our stuff kind of put in these warm tents, we had about 6.5 hours to run.
How long was the flight again?
5 hours. Yeah, so from Cape Town
Dude.
to Wolf's Fang, Antarctica. And Wolf's Fang is a kind of a private area owned by the company White Desert. So White Desert actually flew us over there to their runway, and we ran like this L-shaped loop kind of path. And they told us, they said, make sure you stick to the path or to the course. Don't want to go wandering off because you might disappear. You might fall down a crevasse and you're dead,
Shit,
basically.
bro.
So, um, yeah, and where we were, it was at elevation. It was at like 3,500 feet.
Only.
Yeah, and I mean it's super pretty. There's all these mountains in the distance. It's just all rock. I didn't see any dirt. It was solid ice that we were on, that they had groomed with like a groomer that they use at
Just to carve a
like,
path. I did see. I
yeah.
saw all the stuff that you were posting, and yeah, it looked pretty gnarly, man. What was the temperature again?
So negative
Negative.
4 or 5 degrees, but we had massive wind, so it was like -20 is what it
Negative.
felt like.
Dude, running at California people running in freaking. I like if it's in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect, man. But like once you start getting into before we got on live, we talked about that we have a pretty mutual history with like OCR, obstacle racing.
Yeah.
This guy has done a bunch of tough mudders. Actually, podium at those. Those are a lot of fun if you've never done one.
Yeah.
But when when you go into cold places and because you're jumping in and out of the water, I think I did a trifecta in one day in Ohio.
Yeah.
It was about 20, high 20s, 30s. Felt like dead, bro. That was horrible. So when you say negative, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
sounds horrible, bro. Like, so but you
It's
did you got through that?
Yeah, I mean, you really got to keep your layers in check, and like know if you start sweating too much, you need to
Overheating.
open up or pull a layer off. Um, with what I wore, it ended up being perfect. I had two windproof layers on the bottom. Um, I was wearing a Gingy long toe socks, which I usually always wear Gingy toe socks when I'm doing like a ultra run. And then I had a sock, like a thermal sock layer over those, or my Nike Valermo Plus road shoes. It was hard packed enough where you could just wear road shoes. On top, I had 3 layers. I had like a long sleeve base layer, a craft windproof jacket, and then I had a Mammut waterproof windproof jacket on top of that, and 2 layers of gloves. Um, Yeah, so I mean, I felt pretty good. Like
That's
my running pace and with what I was wearing was perfect. Towards the end, I started to run a little faster and I started to heat up. Like started to
I
actually
was gonna
warm
ask you,
up.
you didn't overheat with all that? Because I started feeling hot just hearing you. Because I was like,
No, no,
"Ugh."
it's so cold
It's so
that
cold.
like yeah,
What about
you're
your
cooked.
water, dude? How do you keep it from freezing?
Okay, so
Like,
that was the thing. So I didn't carry any water on me, but our path is so short. You know, like you're
oh, it
gonna
wasn't like out and back. It was like loops.
yeah. So every single run I did was basically loops or just like multiple out and backs.
Right, right, right.
So Cape Town was actually our longest, and we did a loop that was like a 7 kilometer loop.
Hmm.
And then Antarctica, man, what was it? In mileage, I think we had, oh gosh, I think it was just about 3 miles per loop. They did have an aid station set up, and they had this big tub of water, and that froze by like the second lap solid. It was a 5 gallon jug, but they had thermoses with hot chocolate or hot water, and you know they just pour it out in a cup, and it was practically boiling. But by the time they poured it and you grabbed the cup and put it to your lips, it was already cooled down. That's how freaking cold it was.
You
So,
know,
and then I had like a base layer glove on, and then these really thick like ski gloves on over them, and I had gels on me. I was wearing a Raid waist belt, and I had my gels and some bars in my waist belt. Well, I'd take my big glove off to grab a gel, and by the time I would, get the gel down and put my hand back in, it'd take me 10 minutes for my fingers to warm back up. So it was super hard to consume anything. When you cross through the finish line, every lap, there was like this little area with all these huts, and you can go inside one. They had food in there, they had fluids and stuff, but it kind of took some time. You had to kind of run off your course, go in, and then come back out. So at some point, I think I had gone in there like one time, and I was just like, screw it. I'm just gonna keep drinking hot chocolate from the other aid station, and then eat what I can. But I barely ate that day, which kind of hurt me the following day. But it was tough.
super random question, but I'm asking you. So even as a race director, I get the craziest question. So not craziest, but people ask me, "Where do I go to the bathroom?" I'm like, "You're in
Yeah,
the freaking trails. Go take a piss in the corner." Like, and there's bathrooms where we at the lake where we do it.
yeah,
But I'm just thinking, when you gotta take a piss, dude, like, I mean, it's like a doesn't freeze.
yeah. No, yeah. So they had two bathrooms.
They were heated,
No, I mean, but it
covered.
was like a little hut, and
Okay.
uh, so I used both of them. The little TMI, but my stomach wasn't feeling the greatest that day, but I ended up, yeah, I went in one that was by like the finish line, and then they had another one right by that little aid station where they were pouring out hot chocolate. Um, they weren't heated, but it was, it kind of retained its
Body heat
heat.
probably warmed
Yeah,
it up a
yeah,
little bit.
it wasn't that bad. Definitely cold though, and it was a whole process. You're wearing all this stuff, so you gotta take your gloves off, and
And,
it took like 10 minutes at one point. So
and it is a big deal because when you shave like your body, against TMI, but like is that reality, man? You guys be. I mean, again, if we go back to your buddy Andrew Glaze and some of the stuff that he's lubing up, he's showing
yeah,
videos like putting lube on his crutch
oh yeah,
as he's
all the
running,
time. Yeah,
like recording that shit. But uh, the shaving is real, man. Like
yeah,
we talked about like the Spartan race. Like I did the 60-hour Spartan Agogi.
yeah,
One of the biggest challenges was not like being up for like 3 days. It was that same thing. I went to the bathroom. I was rushing because they're not letting you just take your sweet time. It was like
yeah,
taking a dump in the bushes, and I didn't clean right with the sweat and water. It was suffering for a while to the point, and this is like beyond like information. I basically put a fucking sock
yeah,
between my butt cheeks, man. Like, so that's the kind of crazy stuff that when you're thinking of this
yeah,
stuff that you look at all the glorious reels and stuff, but
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that happens behind literally behind that is like
yeah.
tough. So I was wondering, man, like
No,
with all those layers, like
yeah.
shit.
No, I did okay. So, pro tip here for men, I wear these underwear called sacks. So they have like a pouch that kind of holds your stuff. It keeps it separated from your thighs, so you're not rubbing. Um, and I've been wearing those for years now, and it helps tremendously. I still lube up everything. I use a few different type of products. one product that will work better than anything, but I hate it because it smells and it stains everything is Desitin. It's
It works.
it's used for babies, but when I ran the Monster 300, I used so much Desitin that I stained every pair of underwear I was wearing, all my shorts. I stained the backseat of my truck. At aid stations when I was back there. Um, that stuff will outdo anything, but it's horrible. Um, you've got, what is it, Salty Britches. Salty Britches is good. Squirrel's Nut Butter, they're obviously one of the most popular. Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of brands. So we paused for commercial. Now, did like on the financial part, I know that you raise money, and I know this thing is not cheap. And if you would have done it like literally on your own, I mean, you don't have a, we don't have private planes,
Yeah.
but if you did, I'm pretty sure it would have cost way more. But like, did any companies helped out that you want
So
to mention, or you just?
yeah, I can mention a few. So I actually paid all out of pocket for
Mhm.
this whole thing, and I released the whole project later on. So I planned it end of 2024, beginning of 2025. Got it all secured, ready to go, and because it was a Guinness World Record, I I waited to announce it to the public till the end of June. But I did start reaching out to companies. I put together a whole pitch deck, my athlete resume, and I would, just start sending it to companies that I liked, that I trusted, and I got every single one of them was no.
Mhm.
Nobody wanted to help, nothing, and I didn't expect to really get
Right,
anything
right, right.
anyways. Personally, I thought my athlete resume was pretty good, pretty nice, but yeah, companies, they look at my social media, and like we were talking earlier, nowadays,
Yeah.
if you don't have a big following, it doesn't care what you've done. Companies, it's not a good business move for them. So after I released my video of what I was gonna do, um, and that I was doing it for Parkinson's and raising money for Michael J. Fox, I kind of went through a couple iterations of how to fundraise and ended up selling these hats. I had some shirts I was selling, and then I would donate a portion of that to Michael J. Fox. I started a GoFundMe, and I would take half the GoFundMe money and send that to Michael J. Fox. And on my GoFundMe page, I literally was super transparent. I said, look, this is how much I've spent out of pocket.
Hmm.
This is how much I'm trying to raise to go towards my project expenses and how much I'm trying to raise for Michael J. Fox. So I left it all out there on the table. And even on my Michael J. Fox athlete donation page, I will, when I donate what I've been, when people have given me or whatever, I'll put exactly the amount I've gotten from GoFundMe or from the hat sales or shirt sales, whatever it might be. Because I want people to trust what I'm doing. I don't want
Yeah,
people
yeah,
to be like, oh,
definitely.
he's just taking all the money. But then I also had my Michael J. Fox donation page, um, which I was promoting that. I had that up, and even when I ran the event, I pushed that super hard. But there was a point before where I kind of had to really try to get sponsors and people on board to help with the project expenses. So I was kind of pushing that GoFundMe and like the merch sales more. But it wasn't up until a couple months out that I got my first sponsor locked in, and I got one sponsor from the fitness industry on board, and that's it. And it was Live It Up Superfoods. They're
Shout out to them.
Yeah, thank you. I actually have a friend that works for them, and they worked out a sweet deal with me to give them some content, and they didn't care if I posted anything, tagged them in anything. They just said, look, we want you to film this content and just send it to us, and we'll do what we want to do with it. I said, cool. Other than that, this is another pro tip if you're trying to fundraise: go to your local community first and foremost. I didn't really even think about doing that until some news articles started coming out about me doing this whole project. I started kind of reaching out to some businesses locally. And that's where I got most of my sponsors. I had about, I'd say, 10 plus companies or people like
The
sponsored.
community.
Yeah. So long story short, end of the day, I ended up getting just about under half of
What
what
you
it
needed.
cost me to do this whole thing. Um,
And the reason I mentioned, because that's important. I mean, like, you're not gonna be able to do this kind of stuff for free, man. Like,
yeah,
you gotta put in all the efforts that you did for the race fund and all of that. And unfortunately, we talked about it when it comes to like social media, YouTube, and all that stuff.
yeah,
I was just telling like you'll have an amazing story about something that can people can relate to, something that they can strive to do, and it'll get a certain amount of views, right?
Yeah.
And my nephew, he's like 7 now, but when he was younger, he used to watch this thing on YouTube called Ryan's Toys or some
Oh
shit like
yeah,
that.
the kid that opens toys.
Dude,
Yeah, that guy.
that
That kid's
kid's a
making millions.
millionaire.
Yeah.
He literally opens a freaking toy, and he has millions of views. So it's like, so yeah,
Yeah.
if you can't look at that stuff and be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? You just gotta do what you gotta do for the reason that you're doing it.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like your community. I
Yeah.
did see, looking through your stuff, I did see some out of Fresno, some news reports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think most importantly in your community, I think you did. People know that. I think I actually mentioned to my girlfriend. She's in Fresno,
Yeah.
and she did say, "Oh yeah, I heard about him."
Yeah.
And I was like, so yeah, man, it's all good. So
Yeah. It
but
worked out really well. So I didn't reach out to any news sources. It was all friends or family that had connections to somebody at one of the news stations, and they reached out, and they all, I heard back from everybody, and they said they're gonna wait till like last minute, and
to make sure you
as
do it.
well, as like a fundraising point of view, I was like, man, I wish they would do it earlier. But I
Yeah.
think for them, just for the story, it makes more sense for them to do it kind of right before, and then if I'm successful with it, then they do one right after. Yeah, but I had so it was kind of funny. I went and paced Moab this year. So I was out there, paced it for 104 miles with my buddy, and then got home for a day. The next day, flew out to Cabo to my buddy's wedding that I was in, and I get home. It was actually my 31st birthday, October 20th. I get up, I run 31 miles through our orchard because the past few years I've been running, on my birthday I'll run the same amount of mileage as how old I turned. And then right after that, ABC 30 shows up, or one of their reporters show up with a camera, films this whole thing, and then I think it was the same day went and did a podcast. The next day went to KC24 studio, did a segment with them, did like another podcast the following week, and then these news segments come out like end of the week, and then I start getting people reaching out to me, hey, we're videographers, we want to come film a short doc on you, would you be open to it? Yeah, sure. And then like newspaper and all these other people just start reaching out, and then it just kind
Yeah.
of like takes off and blows up. It was really cool to see, and it was really emotional too. The ABC 30 video, they took some clips from my Instagram that I had put on some of my reels of my grandpa and I when I was
That's
when I
cool,
was a
man.
baby, and they put it up there, and
Yeah.
just to like see him up there, and like I cried my eyes out when I saw that ABC 30 news clip. I was actually in my tractor. I was working spraying an orchard, and I had my phone out, and I was watching it. I was just like literally bawling my eyes out. I'm like, man, that's such a beautiful video that they did. I was super thankful for it.
Yeah, I actually last night, so I was a little sleepy today, so I was like, when I dropped off Jorge from last night at Camp Pendleton, I started looking through his stuff. I was like, damn it, like why did I do that? Because now I got hooked and looked into his stuff,
Yeah.
and I did see that, man, and I was like, again, I think I mentioned to you when I talked to you on the phone, my grandpa on my dad's side, my grandpa Manuel, he worked in the Central Valley, man. He worked
Yeah.
in the farms and all of that, and obviously we talked about family. So I think all of that's very touching because it's real, man. It's like we talked about his family. So I'm glad that people, no matter when it happened, they put it out there for others to see.
Yeah.
And I know we kind of like sidetracked a little from the main, but honestly, the way I see it is like the most important thing is like what he just talked about his grandfather and like the real emotions and all of that.
Yeah.
The running around, I mean, we do a lot of running, right?
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about, all the experience. But the end goal, what was it? Bring awareness.
Yeah.
And dedicate it to his grandfather. So I think it's very important to share that.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I've told quite a few people this. When I was first putting this project together, it was kind of like a selfish thing, how most of the stuff the challenges we set
Right,
for
right.
ourselves, right? It's like, what can I do bigger next? What can and I was like, I want to run around the world and set a Guinness World Record, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen. And thankfully it all came together, but as I was putting it together, and I thought, oh wow, like, this is gonna be so cool. Like, I'm gonna be the man. And I was like, that's stupid. I need to do this for something.
Right, right.
And a couple months into it, after I'd already applied to Guinness, gotten secured with the Great World Race, it dawned on me. I'm like, I need to do this for something bigger. And one day an ad came across my Instagram with Michael J. Fox, and I thought, why haven't I thought of that? Like
Yeah,
Parkinson's. Like I'm watching my grandpa go through something so much more difficult than any amount of mileage I could ever run. Why don't I do this for him? Why don't I turn this into something positive that I can make a difference in the world with? Because no one's going to care that I freaking ran 200 miles around the world in a week. People are going to care that I'm doing it for a bigger cause, and people are going to witness that, and maybe somebody will donate to a Parkinson's fund, or maybe somebody that has someone in their family with Parkinson's is gonna go give them a hug or sit down and talk with them, or just anything really. And that became the beauty of this whole project. And to see the impact, the little impact that it did leave, I had people around the world reaching out to me that have Parkinson's or that had lost somebody from Parkinson's. When I finished in Miami, one of the runners' grandpas was standing at the finish line, and he had Parkinson's, and he came up to me and talked to me.
oh damn.
And there were like multiple other people there that were like, hey, somebody in my family has Parkinson's, like, thank you for doing this. And that made this whole thing 1,000% worth it.
Yeah, you get,
Any amount of money I had to spend out of pocket for this doesn't matter.
yeah, you give
That
it
made it.
purpose. I think, yeah, if you would have done it just to run it, I think it's pretty admirable and it's pretty cool. But you gave it purpose, and that's. I mean, I think if anything, if you have purpose, then everything else
Yeah.
it kind of works itself out.
Yeah. And I was posting every day throughout the runs, and like I literally had this fire in my soul the whole week of like, I don't care how hard this is, how much I hurt, nothing, none of that matters. Like I'm doing this for a bigger cause, bigger purpose, and that is carrying me through. And literally every day, like I never stretched, I never warmed up. We got to the start line,
There's
and
no
I
time for that.
and I took off running, and I was like, I feel fresh. I feel good. The only day that hurt a little bit because I didn't fuel a lot during
Mhm.
Antarctica was Perth, Australia, and it was 95 degrees that day.
Oh
So
shit.
over a 100-degree swing. But every other day, I mean, I had my certain soreness. I knew at a certain mileage I was going to start to hurt a little bit, and just kept pushing through. And I just, like I was saying on my reels that I would post, I remember one of them. So we actually lost. So I had names on the back of my shirt
Hmm.
of people that have passed from Parkinson's or people that currently have it. And one of the names, one of the Parkinson's people, they had actually passed away the night before I ran. I think it was before I ran Australia. Yeah, it might have. I forget, one of those days. No, Abu Dhabi.
Hmm.
So the fourth run, and like it was somebody that was actually kind of related to me through a roundabout way. And man, I ran that day with some freaking purpose. And when I finished, um, they were doing their live stream, and I mentioned something about it on the live stream, and I was kind of getting a little emotional about it. But on my reel I posted that day, and the caption I said, "Look into my eyes. This is what fire in your soul looks like." And I'm like, I ran with so much purpose today, and like, I mean, every day I did, but that day especially, I was like, you know, that there's something inside me that's pushing hard.
Well, I don't know if you translate on video or what, but like you're describing it and sitting next to you, bro. Like I can feel that shit, man. I gotta have like goosebumps, bro, because yeah, I'm just sitting there and I'm visualizing like and then feeling that. I think most of us that I seen on some of your reels talked about what running is for you, where you talked about that you're in some sort of like meditating state, and that's
Yeah,
kind of like it's kind of where you find your peace in a way. Um, I think we all have the feeling, but when the way you describe it, I just felt it and picture myself when again when you have purpose and now this is like real. This is someone that you had on your shirt and
yeah,
they passed. Like that shit is like
yeah,
it makes you run through walls, bro. Like it's
yeah,
very, and that's why I think is like out of everything that we're talking about, the adventure is amazing, but like man, like the purpose is where it's at.
yeah,
So going back to like the different stages, I noticed that you pretty much look the same, bro. Like I saw the different videos, you almost look like repeats from the other one. It's like
yeah,
dude looks physically and emotionally like pretty right on
yeah.
on. So the first one was in Africa.
Yeah, Cape Town,
Cape
South
Town,
Africa, and then Wolf's Fang, Antarctica, and then we
Antarctica,
had Perth, Australia.
Australia, which was hot.
So that was the hottest day, um, and that actually was not my favorite one. That was probably my least favorite run out of all of them.
So humid.
It wasn't humid; it was just hot, and we ran along this river. I mean, it was a nice area, but it was kind of just there wasn't really a lot around you to look
Hmm.
at, and it was cool, but we had a really nice sunset that night. We hung out. There was like this clubhouse area where we had all our gear stored, and they had bathrooms and showers. So we actually didn't leave till like 10 o'clock that night. So we had plenty of time to just hang out and watch the sunsets. That was nice. Next day, Abu Dhabi though. I love the Middle East. I've raced in the
Cause
Middle
you already done
East.
races there, right?
Yeah, I did. I did one in middle of nowhere in Saudi Arabia in 2024. That's when they had that big Tough Mudder race with the huge
Yeah, yeah,
prize
yeah, yeah.
money. I did a team race there. Raced in Kuwait in February of this year. Um, yeah, I think the Middle East is epic.
Where was it? Was it like? I mean, sometimes I don't know. It's kind of stupid, but we think of Middle East, we think of sand.
Yeah, I mean,
Where was it? Did you? Because I know Top Mudder was in like
yeah,
some sand stuff. Like, what was it?
yeah. So I'm trying to think of the name of the town or the area we were in. Oh man, I keep forgetting. It was an area that the Saudi government was trying to bring more tourism
Okay,
to,
so tourist area.
but I mean, it was kind of cool. Like a little bit of the backstory. So I was doing it with a four-man team, and when we flew out, we were gonna have a long layover in Dubai, and I thought, well, why don't we just stay in Dubai for a couple days? So we ended up
Mm.
staying in Dubai. We did like everything we possibly could. We went skydiving, went to the top of the Burj Khalifa, and like explored everywhere. Went
And
out
this
to the
and this is when you did Tough Mudder, right?
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. So then after we were there for 3 days, and we flew over to Saudi. And I remember coming into land, and we're in like I'm looking out the window, and we're flying around like this mountain, and there's nothing. There's no buildings. There is nothing at all. All of a sudden, we land at this little tiny airport, get on a bus, and you go through this super old town, and then they take us out to this open area of just like hard packed sand, just massive area off the side of the highway. And then there's like this tent city because we all stayed in these big yurts,
Yeah, yeah.
and they had it set up really nice. It was pretty cool. Yeah, then we just kind of lived out there for a few days, and we had our race, and I think that was gosh, was that I think it was an 8 hour, no, it might have been a 12. I don't know, it was an 8 or 12 hour daytime race. Really cool though. The obstacles were like
Pretty amazing.
no, they were easy.
Oh, they're easy compare.
It was like doing a freaking mini, like the kids mini butter, but still cool. I mean, still a cool area to run in and just experience. And um,
But this time around, where you ran, it was not that same area, right? It was just.
no, so this year I went to Kuwait
Mhm.
and raced just out. It was the Hannibal OCR race.
Mhm.
So I'm part of the Mudgear Hannibal Pro OCR team, and my buddy Evan Prepares, who runs it, he's connected with the guy that owns Hannibal. So they hooked us up. We just kind of had to pay to fly ourselves out there, and they put us up in a hotel, and we did both their races. So it was an 8 kilometer race, and then the next day was a 300-meter race,
Oh, 300. Jeez.
which was like 8 obstacles.
Just
It
quick.
was 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
3 minute race, just as fast as you could possibly go. It was fun though. There was really good athletes out there. Some of these guys from Dubai or Qatar that have done the Gov Games. I don't know if you've heard of the Gov Games
No, no, no.
overseas. It's gotten pretty big, but they're legit OCR athletes. I ended up taking third, and I took second the following day on the 300-meter.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of stuff in that region of the world for like a lot of boxing, a lot of stuff
Yeah.
to bring, yeah, to bring entertainment over there. But yeah, it's just everything looks like top notch. The stuff that they
Yeah,
do over
yeah.
there.
They've been putting a lot. Well, I mean, Saudi government especially, they've been putting a lot of money
Yeah, yeah.
into different sports and stuff. So that division of Tough Mudder, they were supposed to keep doing them, but I
It's
think it
tough.
was 3 or 4 months later they closed shop.
So was this kind of like was this the only place that you had already ran like before, going back to the 750 Ks? Because you already had been there before in the, well, at least in the region.
Yeah, in the region. Yeah, I mean,
But everything
other
else
than the
was pretty new,
U.S.,
right?
yeah,
So that was four.
yeah. So day 4 was um, Abu Dhabi, which was cool. We actually ran along the water on this really wide path, and I've got some drone videos up on my Instagram. But I mean, it was a really nice path, and the city, it's just massive buildings. They have an Atlantis hotel out there that was out in
Hmm.
the distance. Super cool. I don't know. Personally, I love the Middle East. It was
Sounds cool, man. I want to
yeah.
go over there.
Yeah, it was that was a great run. We were actually in a hotel till late that night, right across the road, and we had access to their spa, so went and
Oh, nice.
got in the steam
Shit.
room and the hot tub. Um, yeah, and then following day we were in Algarve, Portugal, um, which was beautiful. It was a beautiful area.
What was the flight like?
Oh gosh, I think that
Lane.
one.
How long did it take you?
Oh man, I think that one was 8 hours. And with the plane, so just so people don't think we were just sitting upright the whole time on all these flights, the plane was a chartered plane, so it was all lay down seats, like lay down
Okay,
flat
you could
seats.
stretch.
Yeah, you had a
Oh,
bunch of room, just like a first class seat, but
right, right.
lays down all the way. And I had my Normatec boots, and that was like key to have. So I'd put them on, and I'd fall asleep with my Normatec boots running. So getting my legs kind of squeezed out. And the food they had on the plane was great. They bring us these menus, and it wasn't like, oh, here's your dinner, open your tray. It was like actual
They got
legit,
legit
like on
stuff.
plates, everything. So even our breakfast, like bring us this massive platter of, here's eggs, here's fruit, here's, all this stuff, oatmeal. So we ate really well on the plane. Um, so no complaints there. Bathrooms, you had to wait sometimes, but
Yeah, yeah.
the plane was. We had quite a few bathrooms on the plane, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah, Portugal. I think we took about a 30-minute bus ride over to the run course, and it was through. It was like this U shape through this little town that looked kind of run down. Like some of the buildings were graffitied and like run down. But then come to find out, like the area is like a summertime spot.
Mm,
So it looked really dead and quiet, but they said in the summertime it just gets
it
packed
gets
full of
packed.
people. And we kind of staged our stuff at this little gelato shop. And afterwards, that's where they had dinner for us. Somebody had cooked a bunch of food and just had like a buffet line style. Then we're just buying ice cream or gelato and milkshakes and stuff. Um, but the beautiful thing about that day was all these kids. There's probably 50 kids that came out of nowhere. They must have obviously been in school, but they lined up along our halfway point, right, kind of at like the
Hmm.
finish line. And we were running by, and they were putting out their hands. So I was,
Oh, that's
high
cool.
fiving all these kids. Super cool. So we finished that one, and I didn't realize we were so close to the ocean or to the beach. And we took this little short walk through the town, and you come out to this beautiful beach area. It was so gorgeous. Um, but yeah, that area I'm sure is great during the summertime.
Portugal sounds like it would have been nice. How many people were with you guys? Like, did everybody that started, did everybody did all the races?
So there was a few people in the beginning, I think, that just ran. Um, I remember we had a few people in Cape Town that I only saw that day, that
Hmm.
ran that day, and then Antarctica. There were a few people that came along just to run that one as well. Then they didn't run the rest. But pretty much everybody, yeah, was
They
there
did
the
there,
whole
but
time.
roughly like
About
what?
60.
Oh, 60.
Yeah,
That's a solid number. But out
yeah,
of 60, you're the only one doing the 50K.
yeah.
Nobody could say like today I want to run the 50K. Nobody said that, or they couldn't,
I mean, yeah, so somebody definitely could have, but I was the only one
but
running
nobody
fit.
wanted
Yeah, no,
it.
no.
Shit, no.
Everybody was like, "Wow, you're crazy." I'm like, "You're crazy too. You're running a
Do
marathon
five
every
more.
day." Like, the cool thing was some of the people I met. I remember the first day, right before we started running in Cape Town. I met. I'll call him a buddy of mine now, Nick. Nick, last name is Boskers. Nick Boskers. He lives in Tampa, Florida. I said, what have you run before? He's like, never run a marathon.
I was
So
gonna do seven.
by the end of the trip, he had run
He did
7
seven.
marathons. I was so freaking proud of him, and so many other people too. We had a guy out there that's 83 years old.
Really?
Yeah, and he had signed up to do the halves. I think he ended up doing 5 full marathons and then 2 halves. Like he
Damn.
just kept going.
But he was supposed to initially just do a bunch of halves,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
just
I mean,
went and
he
did like
just
5 full marathons.
yeah, and he just he would do his little fast walk
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
time, and it's so cool to see him. We had a lady with one leg, so she
Prosthetic.
actually she had her prosthetic, and she crushed it. We had other people out there raising money for different things. Brent Silky, he's with I believe it's called 30 for Freedom Foundation. They raise money to basically prevent trafficking of women, or
Hmm.
to help
Human
them,
trafficking,
to help them
specifically
somehow.
women.
They raised like $1 million. Yeah,
Damn.
crazy. So he had a team there. There was, I think, four of them that were running, and then they had a videographer with them. But it was great to see them. They were
So
crushing it out every
with
day.
that race, you think like a lot of the people, that's kind of like what they're using it for, to raise awareness and money for different things,
Um,
or was there some
no,
people that were just for fun?
yeah, some people just for fun. Everyone kind of had a story or a reason.
Right, right.
Some people was more personal. Um, whether they had just gone through something tragic in their life and wanted to do it, or raising money for something back home, or a bigger cause. Everybody kind of had their reason. It was so cool. That's the beauty of that. Like, with running Spartans or Tough Mudder, right? The
Right.
community. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I felt when I got on that plane or was running with all these people, I was in that community every single day.
Like it was their own little community.
Yeah.
And I think that this is something in one of your posts say about like now you spend a whole week, but it's a week worth of a ton of memories. It's
Yeah.
like way more stuff than a normal week, right?
Yeah.
So I think you said something about like you're parting away from each other. So
Yeah.
that must have.
But I mean, you're living with these strangers like 24/7 for a full week, and then all of a sudden you finish in Miami and just everybody kind of goes their own way. They had a little gathering that night at a restaurant. I mean, not everybody showed up, but I went by for a little bit and got to see
But that is
some
a
people.
crazy experience. Not just like the everything about it, or running the distance, the 7 days in a row, but 7 different countries, continents. It's just
Yeah.
everything about it is pretty freaking crazy. So where'd you go from there? Did you go to South America?
Yeah, so Portugal, we went to Cartagena, Colombia,
Colombia.
and
Oh,
we
Colombia's
started
awesome.
there at 3:30 in the morning, which
That's
another
when the race started? 3:30 in
yeah,
the morning?
yeah.
Why? Was it that
Uh,
early? Well, at this
so
point, the time
well
is probably all
with
messed up.
time change and also with the heat,
Oh,
I mean, it was just super humid. So like I was drenched. I'm not a heavy sweater, but I was drenched within like the first probably 30, 45
even at that
minutes.
time.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
damn.
and it was still warm. But it was cool because we ran this L shape on this path along the water, and I mean the city, tall buildings, super beautiful, and we got to see the sun come up, and it was great. I love that course. So at most of these areas where we ran, if it was like a path, there were also civilians out there.
Right,
The
right,
people
right.
we kind of had to
There's people
dodge.
there.
They could tell after a little bit what was going
You're
on, but
running.
you had to run around people. And that path actually got pretty packed, and it was kind of narrow, so you had to really dodge people. But I loved that one as well. It was really pretty, and we had a bunch of time there the rest of the day, and we actually had a hotel room for the day, and they had a really nice pool area that we could hang out at. And I went into town with a couple of guys into the old town. They have like this old fort there, and the old town inside of it. So we went and ate there, got to do a little exploring. Then the final day, so actually late that evening, we flew into Miami.
For the
So
final
so
one.
same day. And my original plan, because the original schedule showed that we were supposed to get to Miami at like 4:30 in the afternoon that same day. I was gonna get off the plane and then go run my last 50K that same day, and then go back and run the marathon with
Oh
everybody
shit.
else the next morning. So that was my original plan. But I told myself if we end up getting in late at night, I'm just going to run the final 50K the next morning. But for the Guinness record purposes, I would have probably been able to. I would have finished sub 6 days of total time if I did
To
that.
make it
Yeah,
tighter.
just to make it a tougher record to break. But we got in late, and my whole family was in Miami, and I was like, I'm not gonna go run at 11
Right, right.
o'clock at night, make them
Yes.
stay up, and then go run jump right into the marathon after. So I ended up starting my final run an hour before everybody else did because the female record. So when she did it, they started later in the day, her first day, and it's your total cumulative time. So like I started a stopwatch on my phone the second I started in Cape Town, and ended it when I finished in Miami. So you don't take time change into effect, nothing. It's just
Just
you run a
accumulate.
stopwatch. But she had started later in the morning on her first day, which she did, and we started early.
Mm.
So I was a little behind on time, but I told myself, it doesn't matter, but I do want to break her time.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't matter
sure.
for
Still
anything, just
competing,
for
man.
me.
Just for yourself,
Yeah.
shit.
So to do that, I had to start an hour early. So I started at 6:30, and there were actually a couple other guys running the marathon that started early with me,
Hmm.
just because they were going to take a while and they wanted to be done early. Um, so we get out there to the run course, and there's one of the guys gets on a bike and follows me out back and forth for a little while. But literally right before I started, my whole family shows up. They've all got like tears in their eyes.
Oh
They're
man,
hugging me, and I'm like,
that's awesome.
all right, let's go. And I took off, dude, and I was running sub 7 for a while.
Yeah, because I saw that on your Strava that your last 50K was your fastest.
It was my fastest. So, and it's funny, my buddy DJ Fox, who's a
I know DJ too.
dude, DJ is a savage
Did you
athlete.
meet him through Tough Mudder?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
love DJ. On my Strava, I think the day before, he had commented, "Oh, sub 4 tomorrow," and I said, "Don't tempt me with a good time."
Oh shit.
So, but I mean, I had like it was the last day. I was giving it my all. I said, "This is it. Like I'm gonna run it hard." And then there were so many people out there, just all the families of everybody running. Everyone's cheering. The energy's super high. And I had one of my buddies that flew out, and he was running with me for a while. Um, and I just pushed it hard. And so the last lap, as I'm running back, um, I texted my uncle. He was pushing my grandpa around in a wheelchair. My
Hmm.
grandpa can still walk, but he can't really stand for a while
Just
with his
hard.
Parkinson's. He's got to sit down. I said, get him right to the finish line. I want to walk across with him. And like as I'm running, I'm trying to text him. And he's like, well, do you want to push him across in the wheelchair? And I said, no, stand
Pick
him
him
up.
up.
So I come running up, and it was worked out perfectly. And I slow down, and I grab his arms, and we walk across. That's when I grab the finish line thing, and it was
I saw that. That was
crazy.
pretty cool.
Like it was one of those moments that I had manifested that worked out perfectly. And technically, so my distance was 31.22 miles, and my time was 4 hours and 44 seconds. But technically, for a 50K, I did break 4 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking good, man.
That was my fastest time. But other than that, I went
You were
4:19.
pretty consistent. All of yours were like,
Yeah, I went 4:19. Antarctica, I went like a 5:04. And then every day was practically like 4:25 to like 4:34 or so, right around for the 4:30. And then final day was 4 hours.
yeah, for all the traveling and everything, that's pretty legit, man. It's very consistent, but that shows like everything you've been doing, all your training, like
Yeah,
it
no,
reflected.
it worked. And before I even went, I figured in my head, oh, like 5 hours every day. That'll probably be a good sweet spot. And when I started running the first day, I was like, I'm just gonna run, see how I feel. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, 4:19. Then I just every day I just kind of I ran where I felt comfortable, and it just happened to be like around 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it's and I was gonna ask too, cause your family was there, but when you're doing everything else, it's just you, right? Like, I mean, your family's not gonna. You don't have a bunch of people with you.
No, no,
Like,
no.
they can't be like that's just
Yeah,
something that
yeah,
would have been crazy. Okay, so yeah, that must have been. That's definitely pretty awesome that he ended over here, and then
yeah,
that your family were there.
yeah,
That's pretty awesome, man.
yeah.
Well,
It was super super emotional. I figured I'd be crying my eyes out at the end. I did a little bit, but I I kept it together a little bit better than I thought
what
it
was
was.
because that's happening so fast. I mean, even when you say that you went to a hotel, it's almost hard to even think logistically and the time in a day. You got 24 hours. You already took away 4 hours because you've been running 5 hours,
Yeah.
whatever you were slept, and then the flights. It sounded like a lot of them were like 8 hours. So
Yeah.
there's not a lot of time in between. So when did um when did it finally all settled in? Like, was it on the flight back to Cali, or when did it kind of like sink in? Like, what just happened? Because again, you were just different time zones, different continents, different countries. You were all over the world
Yeah.
basically, and now you're. When did it like set in?
Honestly, that
It still hasn't.
I don't. It's been really weird, man. Like I planned. This was the biggest thing I've ever done, athletically. I mean, I've done like Monster 300. I've done
Right,
some
right,
hard stuff, but as far as planning and like dedication and believing in something, this was the biggest thing I've ever done. And it was a whole year of, financially, it was the most stressful thing I've ever done.
right,
I
right.
mean, it took a lot. I had to risk a lot to make this happen. And it happened so fast. Afterwards, I was walking down the beach in Miami with my buddy that had flown out to run with me, with Elliot. And I kind of just like, I'm walking, I'm looking at the sand, and I look at him. I'm like, man, I don't even feel like that just happened. Like, I'm walking down the beach with you right now, and I just ran 218 miles around the world every day, and just accomplished this Guinness World Record and all this stuff. And I ended up breaking other records too. And I'm like, dude, I don't even feel like I just did that. It doesn't feel real. I'm like, I feel like I could go do that for a whole nother week again.
Now you look. I mean, from what I've seen, yeah, you look like you could do that for a while.
But I think I expected it to be a lot harder, and it wasn't, which I'm blessed and thankful for. That means my training worked out.
Right,
That
right.
means, I stayed healthy, that I was ready for it. And, like I said, I had that fire in me to do. I was doing something bigger than myself, and it made it so much easier. I talked to some people about that during the journey. It's like when you actually know in your mind that you're doing something bigger than you, and you're doing something hard, it makes that hard thing so much easier. So it all happened so fast, and it was over so fast. And it's just like I said, you're living with these people every day for 7 days, and all of a sudden, boom, you finish your last run, and back to
Done.
reality. It's over.
Um, have you had any time? Not in the negative, but I know that sometimes when we do like hard events or things that are really hard, oh, and I think when you got all into the OCR world and like I think at one point I was doing like Spartan races like it felt like almost every weekend, but I
Yeah.
started experiencing, and I don't know that you experienced that or whatever, but I experienced like there's like this different high. There's definitely a spotlight on you because
Yeah.
you're doing something special, right? But when it was over, I did experience a few days where it was almost like I don't know if it was depression, man, but it was a
Yeah.
little bit of a down because
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a high that you're doing,
Yeah.
and now I'm talking about just races in the U.S. and some we did in other places.
Yeah.
But like when you're doing this kind of stuff, like have you had any moments where it was just kind of like, damn, this is regular life now? Like,
Yeah. I mean, the whole first week after, yeah, it was just really weird to get back on a normal schedule
right,
and like sleep schedule. And I was like, I felt the high, you know, but I was at home alone, you know, by myself, just kind of sitting there. And I'm like, there's not hundreds of people around. There's not,
right,
I'm
right.
not running with these people. And I got back into training right away. Like, I, so I flew from Miami the day after I finished. I flew home from Miami early in the morning. Well, flew to LA. I live in the Central Valley, so I had to drive home. I didn't even drive home. I drove out to the spot where I usually run. I got out of the truck and I just ran a 5K.
I thought you said you're gonna say that you ran from LA.
No, 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 no. But I went and ran before I even
Right.
got home after being gone for two
Yeah.
weeks. And um, I actually came down with kind of a head cold that night, and I took the next day off, which I never take a day off, but I took a full day off, and then Monday got right back into running and lifting, and just right back to reality, like nothing had really changed. And that whole week went through, and now I'm traveling again. Now I'm down south and ran with my buddy Andy Glaze for 45 miles through San Diego 2 days ago, and
It was
yeah.
it was today's his fourth day, right? He started Monday, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's doing 300
300
miles this
miles.
week
Yeah, it's
because he's done
this is
100-mile weeks, 300 of them.
yeah, this is 300th consecutive week of 100 plus mile weeks.
Yeah, I think unless you're doing that kind of stuff, or not that particular, but unless you're running, I don't think you realize how fucking hard that is to have 100-mile weeks for three. What's that? How many years is that? 300
He's
weeks.
almost. I think he said he was like
Is it 5 years or more?
he's like 12 weeks out from 10 or 12 weeks out from 6 years.
That's fucking.
I asked him the other day. I was like, when are you gonna stop? When's the end? He's like, you know what? I don't know.
It's like such a part of him now, I guess. But it's definitely difficult. I mean, I think we all sometimes we do little challenges or whatever.
Yeah,
Or I say little because I'm thinking of a time that I wanted to, like, I just want to do like a 5K every day.
yeah,
I did it for 60 days. And that
it's
became a
awesome.
pain in the ass, bro.
Yeah,
Like even a 5K,
yeah,
you're thinking it depends how fast you do, but you can knock it out consistently under 30 minutes,
yeah,
20 minutes, whatever. But at the end of that, it was just like it is a lot.
yeah,
Like even that. So then when I think of like 100-mile weeks, because right now he's dropping like 40 miles, 50 miles a day to
yeah,
do this, and it's been pretty cool because I seen it. And and that's how we're even sitting here because I seen him like he was down here,
yeah,
and I'm just like, at that time I just had commented on his post before, but I didn't know him. We didn't talk
yeah,
or anything. So I just reached out to him. I was like, "Fuck it, he just did this
yeah,
cool shit. Let me reach out to him. He wants to sit down and talk." And then I told him, "I'm not Joe Rogan or nothing, but if you want to sit down and talk, I think it's pretty awesome that what you did."
yeah,
And it was from Andy's story. So like, there's people doing a lot of stuff in a world where a lot of times it seems like what gets that attention is the negative stuff. I tell
yeah,
people if I record and like if just making up something, right? Like if I say, "Oh, I hated this coffee," and then I
yeah,
go in there and I get in a fight with the waiter and I post that shit will get a bunch of people. But then sometimes you put like positive stuff and it doesn't.
yeah,
So anyone that is doing anything positive for themselves and for anyone watching,
yeah,
it's always a good time. So
yeah.
with that said, I mean, what would be like a message that you give to people that like, I mean, you could have someone that is not trying to do maybe a
Yeah,
50K every day, but they're just trying to maybe do something positive, like something with purpose, like you
yeah,
did,
yeah,
like and you talked about all the challenges financially,
yeah,
but was it worth it? Basically, was it worth
yeah.
it?
It was well worth it. If you really believe in something and want to do it, and you put both feet in, and you believe it more than anybody else does around you, go for it. That's when you'll be successful because you have to believe in yourself and have the confidence in yourself and what you want to do first and foremost before anybody else does to be successful at something. Um, and when you do something hard, like I said earlier, if you have a higher purpose you're doing it for that's bigger than you and bigger than a Guinness World Record or your run times, whatever it may be, it will make it so much easier to get through that hard challenge. And advice, I guess, man. I've been saying this a lot lately, and don't steal this from me. I might trademark this soon and put it on some T-shirts.
Trademark it.
And this is something we've kind of always said in the OCR industry. For the love of the game,
Yes.
do it for the love of the game first and foremost. Nowadays with social media, not to throw shade at anybody out there who's trying to build a platform on social media, but you see a lot of these people coming on board, starting a profile just to put out catchy crap. They're like, "Oh, I'm a runner now," or
Mm-hmm.
they'll go do one race and say, "I'm an elite athlete," or I'm a coach now. Hire me to coach you. There's a lot of grifters out there. And those people are doing it for the wrong thing. Do it for the love of the game. Do it for yourself, for your own personal, your gain. Because if you're not, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And your career in running or endurance sports it's not going to last long. Like you have to love it first and foremost.
Yeah.
Like we talked earlier, there's something in us that makes us want to run hundreds of miles or do 24-hour obstacle course races where you're freezing your ass off the whole time. And it's you've got to genuinely love it and love the challenge and love the physical strain, the mental strain first and foremost before anything else. So do everything for the love of the game. For example, when I ran with Andy the other day, we had a whole group of people that started with us, and people kind of dropped in and out throughout the day with schedules, stuff they had to do. but I watched multiple people run the furthest run they've ever done in their
Right.
lives that day. And some people tripled the furthest they'd ever run. And we had one guy that had an incredible story. He was an alcoholic. He had gone through all kinds of crap, weighed 200 pounds, started running like a year and a half ago, lost a bunch of weight, sober, and just loves running. He ran with us the whole time, stuck with us all day long, and that was, I think, the longest training run he had ever done in his life.
And
But stuck it out for 45 miles.
that's what it's all about, man. Because, and I'm pretty sure, and when you get a chance to ask Andy, I'm pretty sure that's probably the biggest thing. Because I seen like the daily updates that he's been putting out,
Yeah,
and he's always been like someone in the group that was like, that was my first ultra, that
yeah,
was my first ultra. And that's when it becomes powerful, because you could get all the eyeballs on you and your achievements, which
yeah,
Andy deserves, and he's been doing that. But I'm pretty sure like it has to be special once people are doing things
yeah,
because you decided to run this
yeah,
distance, and now you got people. And then I think if you've been doing this long enough, I think most of us will have experienced that kind of stuff, like going back to OCR Spartan race.
yeah,
I mean, legit, like when I was started like working with them, and it was myself and a friend of mine, Miguel Medina,
yeah,
who him and Hunter, I believe they won World Toughest Mudders too.
yeah,
So Miguel also Mexican heritage, Chicano. They brought us basically to bring in more like the Latino.
yeah,
So for a long time, man, there was a ton of people doing Spartan races that came because we basically
yeah,
brought them to the table, and I knew that like the personal achievements were always great. Like at one point, being the first one to complete anything,
yeah,
or I just did a trifecta in one day. All that stuff is cool, but not until you start hearing those people that I just ran my first race, and it's not that you're looking for like the validation or for them to say I did my first race because of you, because it's not true. Like maybe you guided them there or they
yeah,
saw you, but they did it.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think going back to that, I saw you guys doing that, and that was what I kind of like got away from that. Is like,
yeah,
man, it's fucking sick that Andy's doing already 300 fucking weeks of
yeah,
100
yeah,
miles. It's insane. But the fact that, and this is just week,
yeah,
not thinking like the entire year or people that have been following for years. Like
yeah,
how many people are like trying to do or just started running because of him. And now same thing with you, not just because you just did that this week, but you've been grinding for a while. So I know
yeah.
for a fact that
13 years.
yeah, so I know for a fact that there's a lot of people out there that started doing that because of you. And I think that's like the most powerful thing, honestly.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I've had a lot of people reach out. I actually have people right now. My buddy Greg Fox, I lift with him on Saturdays usually. We do like kind of strongman stuff, a lot of grip, carry stuff, and he's never really been a runner. He started running when I started in Cape Town, and now he's on his, I think, 20th day in a row of running a 5K every day.
There you go.
But I've had a lot of people reach out and say, "Oh, I'm starting to run again because of you," or do this and that. I'm like, I appreciate that, but that's you. That's you know, I might have given you an example of what it looks like, but you're the one that's taken the step to get yourself in the gym or put your running shoes on and go out and run. Like that's all you. And yeah, you just got to believe in it. You just one
It's,
day at a time, one foot in front of the other, you'll make it happen.
I don't know if it's an old saying, or I don't know how you translate in English, but it's basically like you can't you can only lead the horse to the water or the well,
But you
whatever.
can't make it
You
drink.
can't make him drink,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing, man. You can't, somebody can tell, hey, talk to my brother and let him know. You can't talk to anyone. We were talking about that yesterday with Jorge. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, you gotta want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, that's where you and a lot of people, we have a role, I guess, in this world is to just show something, and then hopefully somebody can get inspired by it and doing it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And going back to what I was saying earlier, doing it for the love of the game. Do it, like I said, do it for yourself first and foremost. I've had moments before where, like, especially with Tough Mudder, with World's Toughest, my first World's Toughest, I ran 50 miles. I remember watching Atkins do 100.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I was, 20 years old at the time. And I remember thinking, there's no way I could ever do 100 miles at Worlds. And then, I grinded my way through the years. I did, 50 miles, and I did 3 years of 60 miles. I couldn't break 60. Then I did a year of 80. And then I think we had COVID. And then when I came back in 2021, I hit 100. The
I saw
first
the post.
first time I'd hit 100, and I was like, oh, major bucket list item complete. Like, I'm gonna get sponsored,
Right,
blah
right,
blah
right.
blah. Like, this is awesome. None of that happened. I've still never been sponsored. But the important thing is I did it for the love of the game first and foremost. But don't get ahead of yourself and think that when you hit these good, these major accomplishments, that things are gonna come from it. You gotta always remember you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your own, personal gain and what you want to do. Um, and things take time. Patience is key in this industry. You know, you go back to social media, you'll see a lot of these people come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're like top of the game, top,
Mhm.
running fast marathons or this and that. It's not. Everybody's not like that.
Right,
For
right.
some people it takes years. Some people are just gifted and can do it a lot faster. But just be patient. Um, you know, don't compare yourself to other people. That's something I used to do when I was younger, and once I matured and realized who cares what that person's doing, and you're gonna be a lot happier. It's trust me, you're gonna be a
And,
lot happier.
and I think that rewards probably has to be what you're doing in the moment.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of stuff is like cliche, and people talk about enjoy the journey
yeah,
because it's not because it truly is the you know what I mean? Like the finish line, yes, you get there, but what happened in between? Like personally, I'm not even at a level where I'm competing with anyone. You're
yeah,
not gonna see me probably any podium unless I sneak into some smaller race somewhere,
yeah,
and I don't know where that is. But like I'm not gonna be on a podium. But what I take joy in nowadays, and it's like this weekend I'm running a Ansa Borrego ABC 50 miler,
nice.
and now mind you, I haven't really no excuses. But when you're like hosting an event, a race, it's months before and after that takes it from you,
Yeah,
but you're giving back to the community. So point is that I haven't run as much as I would like to, but it's
yeah,
my girlfriend's first 50 miler, so we're gonna get out there. But what I know I'm gonna get out of is I'm gonna see her. She's
yeah,
gonna suffer. I know that.
yeah,
It's 50 miles, still 50 freaking miles.
yeah.
Like we
It's
make
still
it,
hard.
we normalize it like it's like nothing, but it's still two fucking marathons. Like
Yeah,
it's still a long distance. And then a little bit, I was like, oh damn, maybe I should just put in like some miles to, you know.
yeah,
But what I know that I'm gonna get a lot of is seeing her, and also there's gonna be a ton of people that are friends of mine that are running it, people at the aid station, and
yeah,
honestly, now that's what I really enjoy my those. Like when I'm at a race, is the people that I meet, because there's always someone that like is looking for a way out. Honestly,
yeah,
sometimes they want to quit and they want to look at you that you want to quit, and it's like, hey, bro,
yeah,
we're just gonna stay at the aid station.
yeah,
Hell no, man, we're gonna keep going, and that has happened to me almost at every race now that I do.
yeah,
I bump into someone that is like honestly like wants to quit,
yeah,
and I'm just like inside I probably want to quit too
yeah,
in some of those places, but I just know that like I can, because if I literally tell this guy, hey, just fucking call it a day and eat a burger,
yeah.
they
That's
probably
that's it.
will. So I try
Yeah,
to just be a little bit of a light, a light for someone that is feeling a little dark,
yeah, yeah,
and that's but yeah, to your point is yeah, man, you got to do it. You can't be doing things with a don't have expectations of.
yeah, yeah,
The only expectation you should have is what you're trying to do.
yeah,
But if you're trying to do something and expect, like even this, we're trying to sit down here and I'm thinking, all these people who is gonna watch it, it doesn't matter, man. If there's one person out there
yeah.
who got something out of today, then
Yeah,
we're winning.
it's all that matters.
We're winning.
Yeah,
So with that said, I mean, he has to go to. We're here. Well, he's here for his wife. She's a pretty accomplished volleyball coach, right?
yeah, yeah. So she's the head coach of Fresno Pacific University.
Shout out.
Yeah, yeah. So they just won the Pac West, so they're here for the NCAA Division II regional tournament. So they start playing 11 o'clock this morning. So it's a elimination. So they have to win to move on to the next day, and then the next day. So if they win out, then we'll be in South Dakota next weekend for the final.
So now it's your turn to be on the support role.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's cool, and
yeah,
that's the balance, man.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, gotta come travel around with her, and yeah, but it's fun. Get to still run in a beautiful place.
Oh yeah, you
So
give it to me in a lot of places. So with that said, what about for 2026? Couple goals that you have.
yeah, I may jump into an ultra this next year, or not next this upcoming January,
Hmm.
beginning of the year. I got a marathon on the schedule in February. I'm going to try to go sub 2:30. Um, got a potential Guinness World Record might do in April. I'm going to continue raising money for Parkinson's for Michael J. Fox. I got a couple conventions and stuff I got to go to. That there's a Michael J. Fox one. There's one with actually one of my sponsors. I'll give a shout out to is American Quality Pistachios. They're like a union for pistachio growers. I'm going to be a speaker at their convention down south in February. Other than that, I got the Otillo Swim Run World Championships September. Your race is potentially there,
Right.
depending on the schedule. You know.
All this, I was prepared.
Yeah.
I brought this bad boy for that. So I don't know if you can see the shininess of this.
Yeah, that thing is shiny, man.
So-
I don't think I've ever seen one that shiny.
Yeah, this thing is a pretty awesome buckle for our 200 Muertos 200. So I did tell him yesterday about that. It's like obviously someone that likes to do hard shit, and I told him that just like we talked about, like there's a lot of races that are like mainstream.
Yeah.
There's the populars. All the cameras are gonna be there. I believe that our race, for those that are looking to do some hard stuff.
Yeah.
Not that any 200. I mean, he did Monster 300. I think we had a couple of people who actually have DNF are 100, but
Yeah.
finished. You can't compare it by saying that. But the point is that I truly believe,
Yeah.
and I'm diminishing anything, but I really believe that our 200 is harder
Well,
than
you
the
said
300.
you said it was 20-mile loops, right?
So it's a 20-mile loop, so close enough to a
Well,
marathon.
mentally, that sucks for a 200 miler.
And each loop has 4,400 feet of gain.
Yeah,
That's almost 4,500 feet. And I think where that challenge and that is like, and I've been telling people and not into the experience it,
yeah.
is that the terrain is like, those are not even downhills, man. They're like, there's something else. They're very technical, and so the pounding on your
Yeah.
legs.
So it's pretty slow.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to slow down, but so it has everything.
Yeah.
You have literally 4 climbs.
Yeah.
Each climb has 1,000 feet in less than a mile. So you climb 1,000 feet in
Oh,
less than
yeah,
a mile, and then you drop. I think on one area you drop like 700 feet in half a mile. So it's just like this.
Yeah.
So then now you have
That's
like,
brutal.
then you have like 4 or 5 miles of flat. So he actually literally has everything.
Yeah. So you could run fast, and then you're just.
Yeah, but the problem is that a lot of people hit those climbs so hard
Yeah.
that when they get to the flats, they're completely,
Yeah.
their legs are gone.
blowing out.
So, and then the mental aspect is that, we do have that campground to make it very, very convenient for family. If you pace, like
Yeah.
you've done Cocodona,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been at Cocodona the last 2 years pacing, and it almost feels harder than running a race, crewing, because you're
yeah.
all over the place, you're driving around, and you're doing all of this. And here is the campground. So now you literally have this kind of setting of your family,
Yeah.
and you just went through hell and back through a night where there's cold or a day that is hot, and now you get to the campground, your family is there, there's people eating,
Yeah.
they're greeting you. It's very easy to quit because you're just like, I don't need nothing to prove.
Yeah.
I
you
ran
just
I ran a free
lay
ticket
down.
around the world. Fuck this shit. Like, it's really easy to quit, but that's where the challenge is. So yeah, no pressure, but definitely would love to see this guy at a race, and he did mention something. I don't want to commit to the 100 miles, but he said he wants to do an invite. I'm probably inviting myself now. He said he wants to do something like his orchard where he does his running.
Yeah.
I'll definitely, in some sort of way, I'll come out and participate on that,
Yeah.
whenever that is.
Yeah.
I like to also give back a little, and that's how I ended up doing things that sometimes I regret.
Yeah.
What the hell did I say I would
like,
do
why
that?
did I do this?
But no, it will be a great time, and I told him, he's thinking of that. Like, we'll tell him a little what you were thinking about the run 100 miles.
Yeah. So we've got a little 9-acre pistachio orchard, and I ran 100 miles through it this past May, and something I had always wanted to do, and I did it shortly after I did the Monster and paced Cocodona. It was actually the week after I paced Cocodona. It's almost 900 U-turns throughout the whole 100 miles, and the rows are only 1/8 mile long. So basically, I think it's like 6.7 miles across and back.
That's the story that I just shared, right?
Yeah.
Was that Strava from?
Yeah. So yeah, I put up the stupid reel with the Strava. I had to put it on 20x speed. Well, Strava only goes to 10x speed, and then when I edited the video, I had to add another 10x speed
to
to
make it
it.
faster.
But yeah, it made a perfect orange square block basically.
Yeah, so you're just running like this. So yeah, if
Yeah.
you put that together, man, I'll come
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of room out there, so yeah, I'd probably do like invite only, keep it pretty small,
Few
and just
people.
yeah, just have some fun. Aid station could be my house right there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. But that's what's up, man. So
yeah. I think that was the first. I self-claimed that was the first ever 100 miles in a pistachio orchard.
I mean, like I said, we were talking about like different people doing crazy stuff. Like we were talking about some guy doing a 5K, like
On his
on
bed,
his
yeah.
bed, like on top of the bed,
Yeah,
like
shout out to that guy.
yeah,
That
yeah.
guy, I think, is still doing 5Ks around random
Oh, he's
stuff
doing
every
on
day.
top of like a freaking like little ladder.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I need
People,
to find that one.
people.
That one sounds funny.
Oh yeah, he looks crazy as hell, and I don't even know how like the GPS even moves.
Yeah, I don't, if
It's
you're, yeah.
it's super tiny, but he's doing it. But anyways, there's people doing all kinds of stuff, being creative, and I always like that because that definitely like what
Hmm.
you did right there, man. Like, so we talk. There's a couple of races that are like on a track. I think San Diego has one that is a 24-hour race
On a
around a
track.
track. So even when sometimes people are like, oh, I don't really like loops, but like for a race, they're like, dude, it's a 20-mile loop.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big old freaking loop. That's not. But when you're thinking like smaller, yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Well, if you think of like Tahoe 200, a lot of people won't do Tahoe because it would used to be around the lake,
Mm-hmm.
but now you have a out and back in the
Come
beginning,
back.
then you have the long out and back, and people are just like, yeah, I don't like. People just don't like to do that. So a lot of people haven't been doing Tahoe because of that, or they're waiting until they open it back up to where it goes around the lake. Um, I think it's just mentally daunting for a lot of people, especially
It,
10 loops into two, like that's hardcore.
yeah, especially when so before we brought in the 200, it was a 10-mile loop. And the funny thing about that is that when I started off at the lake, I moved out there 8 years ago. So it was one climb,
Yeah,
10-mile loop, one climb.
yeah,
And people thought it was hard as hell because that one climb sucked.
yeah,
And they had to do it 10 times for 100 miles. So then the next year, I was like, I don't want people to get bored. I added a second climb, still 10 miles. But
yeah,
now they were like pissed. They were like, not pissed, but I guess people love that shit. It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like, yeah, I'm mad, but I love it. But they did ask me, you know, like, are you going to take that off for the next year? I'm like, shit. As a matter of fact, look over
You
there.
got two more
I want to
in.
add the third one. And I added that. And there was another. So it ended up being now 4 peaks. So it's just
That's
like,
crazy.
I always tell people it could always be worse, but not in a worse way. But like, I guess what? So what's the purpose of like, why do we do hard things?
Yeah, yeah. What's
It's
your cutoff time?
it's a long for which one? The hundred.
The,
So
the 200.
for the 200 is 96 hours, 200 miles.
I mean, with that much gain, that's still pretty quick.
Is so it's not so that race. So what happened this year? We had 9 people.
Yeah,
I don't even know if anyone was down. I mean, some people said so. I'm like, you better do it since you told me to put on this thing.
yeah, yeah,
But I don't know if somebody was even going to sign up. So we did get 9 people to sign up. 4 of them finished. But all the ones that finished, they're pretty, whatever you consider elite. But no, there was people that are like putting in
yeah,
like work. Not that the ones that didn't finish didn't, because in a 200 anything can happen, man,
yeah,
injuries.
yeah,
But I guess where I'm going with the cutoff time and all of that is that to finish our race, dude, you can't walk, you can't just show up. You literally will have
yeah,
to have, and that's what I wanted. Like what I experienced in some of the early years with my 100, I'll get a lot of people that are like, hey man, I found your race. I'm looking for this training run for this, like, and
yeah.
in my mind, motherfucker, I say no training run. All of them will DNF.
Oh yeah,
Everyone that says that,
yeah,
don't say it's a training run because you're gonna DNF. It just always happen.
yeah,
So from there on, I just if you go into Ultra sign up in the initial description, it tells you, and I didn't make that claim because it's my race. It says it's likely the hardest 200 that you will run anywhere.
yeah.
And the people that ran it who had run the Triple Crown, all of them agree
Oh no, I
100%.
just you describing
It's
it.
just because of the, again, it's the technical aspect of it. It's also the lake is exposed. You get a hot day, and again,
Oh
this
yeah,
year, last year the highest was 70. It got to 90. So they got tortured with the freaking heat.
dude. Yeah,
And
well, like Monster 300, that's 40. That was 43,000 feet of gain and
300
304
miles. So we
miles.
got the same, but
Yeah.
in 200.
Gosh,
So it's like,
that's awesome.
and it's pretty often that's the thing too. So, run. I think at this point I've done multiple sections of Coconut in 2 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, this is a 20-mile loop, so you're seeing this 1,000 feet climbs pretty often.
Yeah.
Because you got 4 of them in the 20 miler, and you see them so often. It's not like when you spread it throughout a big stretch where you go 20 miles of flat.
Yeah.
No, this is like you're gonna see it over and over. So that's what makes
So
it
you've,
challenging.
I mean, you know Fresno and Millerton. You've been up Pincushion, right?
I just ran it.
Okay, so I'm guessing all your climbs are just like Pincushion. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it, well, the downhills
Worse?
worse,
Oh
dude.
damn.
Okay,
Yeah, you got a you got a legit race
the
there.
last part, the last part where it gets like this little scramble of rocks at the very top of the when you get to the top. You
Yeah.
ran the actual race, or you ran the
At
race.
Pincushion, the 50. Yeah.
Okay, so when you get the then a lot of areas are like that. There's just you can't run them, dude.
Yeah.
But then there's plenty of running. But yeah, we just did it, and which is crazy because when I took my girlfriend to do our 20-mile loop, she's from Fresno, and she's
Yeah.
the one that took me to this race. We just did it.
Yeah.
Um, she's she's done the 20-mile loop like 3 times, and I don't say that she's. I mean, she has to say how she feels about it, but she probably hates it a little bit. It's tough as hell. But then we go to do that race,
Yeah.
and she crushed it. I think the most that people did that day, they did 6 times.
Oh, the goat. Yeah. I've
Yeah,
done the goat a
she
bunch of times.
yeah she did it
It's
like
so good.
6 times, and I think nobody else. And the way that they determine who wins is kind of. I mean, it is what it is, but it's like it's based on your first loop.
Yeah.
So basically, if you haul ass the first
That's
one,
yeah.
then it doesn't matter if you overall actually did it faster. It doesn't matter if you have 6. It goes based on that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I go there and I'm thinking like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do more than her.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm doing my stuff. I don't know, man. I did 4, and I had enough, and I'm called it a day. I'm talking to the race director, and I'm
Yeah.
waiting for her to come
Yeah,
in on her
Nate-
5th.
Nate
Yeah,
Moore.
Nate.
Yeah, I
Nate.
love
Shout out to Nate. I'm actually signed up for his Shadow of the Giants.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doing that now. I'm kind of like Central Valley myself.
There you
too.
go.
So I'm out there. I'll be there. So yeah, it's like my 4th loop done,
Yeah.
and Victoria is coming for her 5th, and I'm looking for her to record like her finish, right?
Yeah.
I'm 4th. So she's doing 4, whatever. She looks at the freaking timer, and she just bounces back up. I'm like, oh man, because in my mind I'm thinking if she goes for 1 more, I'll go 2. But nah, dude, I was like, okay, I'm gonna cheer her on. Fuck this.
Yeah.
So
That goat race is legit.
I love it, dude.
So if any of you want another good challenge, so Nate Moore with San Joaquin Running puts on the Pincushion Goat Climb. 4 hours. It's about a little over 1,000 feet of gain and about I'd say like 1.1 miles. And yeah, as many times as you can in 4 hours. So do you know Oscar Perez? He wins it every year.
Yeah, I
So-
was trying to get him out to do it, but
So Oscar is a beast. I love
Yeah.
Oscar. He's beat me every time I've done it. Like I have so many freaking medals or plaques from that race at second place.
you gotta
'Cause
wait
he-
for the guidance to go.
he always does like 9. I think the most I've ever done is 8. Yeah.
Yeah, this
He's
year
crazy.
There was I don't know there was a fire that I'm not gonna make that excuse, but I gave myself a little bitch ass excuse because I did see and I heard some and that's what I'm saying. I heard a lot of people complaining about that. Oh, there's a fire and that, and I told myself, oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
bad for my lungs. But no, my girlfriend still did 6, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter. But yeah, no, I this year I think only 6 was the most. I think it was not that many.
Yeah.
Like, it was not 9. But yeah, no, there's some fast people. I think I was inviting him to do my October race, but I think he had he's the same. It was the same weekend as the Twin City Marathon or something like that.
So
Or
it's, I
Two
just
Cities,
did I just
something
did
like
the 2 cities.
I think it was the same weekend.
When was it? I think it was the first weekend of November.
Yeah, it was the same weekend
Yeah.
when my race was happening. But
Okay.
but yeah, so to the point is the like our climb is basically like climbing that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
but
crazy.
see that one there is a section where it gets really steep. It's kind of hard to run because it's like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, ours that it's like a half a mile on the downs. It's worse. It's really hard, dude. Like, but
So trekking poles for sure.
oh yeah, dude. People ask me, do you allow trekking poles? Like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
even allowing it. I'm telling you, get your freaking trekking
Yeah,
poles because
yeah.
you're gonna need it. But again, the first climb you gradual climb 1 mile and you climb it. So a mile 3, from mile 3 to mile 8, down but like flat.
Yeah.
Fire road.
Okay.
Plenty of time to run.
Yeah.
Then you hit it 1,000. But I think that what's making it very challenging now with all the other climbs is that before you climb the second climb, again another 1,000. But from there to get to the campground,
Yeah.
it was like from mile like 6 to 10. It's like 4 miles of flat. But
Yeah.
now when you come back down from 2.0, where we call it Molcajete, I don't know if you know what a Molcajete is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like for those that don't know, Molcajete is like this thing that Mexican families we use for to grind anything like
Yeah.
guacamole, chili, whatever. And I say that our climbs are so fucking hard that you have to grind like a fucking Mocahete to get it. And that's how the name came about. So it's Mocahete 1.0, 2.0. And when you come down, instead of now on the 10-mile loop, you will go back to the campground.
Yeah.
Less than a half a mile, you climb in 3.0. And now everybody used to hate 2.0. And I was like, fuck 3.0. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's some sections where sometimes people exaggerate, man, that they're
Yeah.
like climbing cliffs, or it's not like that. But there is some section where you do have to go over some boulders. Dude. Like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of like rock climbing, but not to the point where you need to have a technical skill. But it's definitely if you're running 200 miles, you don't want to climb over a damn rock. But there's some little sections like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, man. Hopefully, schedule works out. But
Yeah.
I'll make it sweeter for you if you do come. I know that you,
You
whatever
don't gotta make it easy or
whatever
sweeter for me.
whatever no, what I want to say, whatever if you're still raising money for anything, we'll figure a way where we can help out with that
Yeah.
in any kind of way.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
I
I'm
said,
still trying to raise. So my goal for Michael J. Fox was 50K.
Mhm.
Right now we're just a hair over 10,000. So I want to continue trying to hit that goal. So this next year it'll be basically like a $40,000 goal.
Okay.
So I'm gonna continue. Yeah, just with every race I do this next year, I'm gonna just keep pushing it.
So like I said, whether he makes it or not, off camera, we could figure something out. Invite some of your crazy friends to do the 200 miler,
Yeah.
and we'll figure out how to like do some sort of donation towards that.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't run it,
Yeah. Yeah.
just invite some people. But
Yeah.
like I
Definitely.
said, I feel like um, we talked about purpose. Our events obviously is still a business, and if you can't make money off a business, there won't be a business, and there won't
Yeah.
be no race, and I won't be there. But like not just my personal time and sacrifice, but the people around me that are like
Yeah.
helping me. It just takes literally a village to get these events up. A lot of people talked about just that level of support, and like I said, for you're able to do a 200. Um, and have no crew and have nothing and still finish it, that speaks volumes of like I said, shout out to Jimmy Crazy.
Yeah.
And he said it, don't do what I do, but yeah, to just to know that like I like to bring what I need, but
Yeah.
just to know that like if you're running a race, there's people out there. Even I would want to obviously to finish, but like our people, we have a lot of DNFs on the other distances.
Yeah.
This year on the 100, we had 50 runners on the 100 miler,
Nice.
and 17 finished.
There you go.
So that's not that many people.
Yeah.
You know how many people I picked up on a freaking off-road little vehicle? And again, most races they tell you, what is
Yeah.
the destination races tell you that if you get lost, if you die, it's your damn fault, whatever.
Yeah, it's your own damn
All
fault.
right. So at the end of the day, you are responsible. But I can tell you that the reason my race will always probably be at about the size that it is that I still like to have the personal connection with people, and
Yeah.
I like to take care of people, man, and even like with 150 people, which is crazy because you had 9 people on Wednesday running 200
Yeah.
by them freaking selves,
Yeah.
and then a lot of people already shared what it was to like get 140 people show up on Friday and get the lights out there.
Yeah.
But we picked up a lot of people that DNF, man, and again, it's not like an expectation where people think that they're gonna be picked up on I'll call it the Mocahete Uber.
Yeah.
Like I was picking them up, but at least that's what we're trying to do, man. We're trying to like host these really hard events,
Yeah.
but out there you're not by yourself. We want you to finish. I don't want to like, keep stacking like my DNFs. And when people go to ultrasigning, that's probably what they see. They just like, why the hell is there so many DNFs?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm hoping that he encourages and pushes people to train for it, train
Yeah.
hard. It ain't no training run, man. Like
No.
you gotta like be purposely training for this in order to succeed, and that's
Yeah.
what I want from people. Again, I want to thank him. I don't know where he didn't know me. I just hit him up, slide into his DMs, and like, hey man, let's sit down and talk about what you just did,
Yeah.
and a few other things.
And I would have come to you if I would have
he
drove
did-
down here, but I ended up, my day got away from me the other day, and I grabbed a late flight at night. So I'm like,
He did tell me he's very considerate, and I told him, dude, I don't know. I did tell him I kind of work. My girlfriend knows this, and I don't know if it's the best, but like I'm very impulsive about stuff, but in a good way. In a way, it's like if I I don't know, whatever gut feeling, I feel like, man, I need to do this.
Yeah,
I'll make it happen.
yeah,
And I wanted to sit down and talk to him, and it's like,
yeah. You were like booked the hotel, and now you're
yeah,
done. Now you're done 2 interviews
yeah,
within like
and I was like, oh shit, George is on the way.
yeah,
Come Pendleton, come over here, bro. Let's get it done, and hopefully again we get people get something out of this.
yeah,
Follow him on social media. Tag them on all the stories. We're gonna put this on YouTube.
yeah.
I'll link his YouTube to that too, and look forward to making inspiring friends like him. And anything else you want to add?
No, man, I think we went over quite a bit. Yeah, I'm mostly just on Instagram. I think he's got my IG and the caption or link, however it works on YouTube. If you guys do want to help out with Parkinson's, if you click my link tree, the first link on my link tree goes directly to Michael J. Fox. So you can donate there. I've got these Project 5077 hats for sale on another one of those links. Yeah, and if you guys need any coaching for anything, let me know. I've been a coach for NVDM coaching for, gosh, probably been almost 2 years now. All remote style coaching. So
Got
I
it, got it.
coach athletes from Ironmans to ultras, 5Ks, marathons, whatever, OCR. So yeah, I'd love to help you guys out, get you guys to your goals.
Yeah, so we'll share more of those links for donations and all of that stuff for his projects. With that said, I'm gonna go back over there and log off, and probably eat something.
Yeah, I know. I
All right.
gotta grab some food.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you so
All right,
much.
let me turn this up. Hopefully, it was working. Oh yeah, it was.